Are you sick and tired of getting ghosted? Are you sick and tired of putting all that work into buying leads, earning opportunities, walking jobs, and then getting ghosted? If you are ready to convert more, take action. From simple things, it's pretty basic. The question is whether or not you're really going to do something about it. And unfortunately, for many of you, you're not. The opportunity is right in front of you. So as you know, hopefully you know, being in the pipeline builders community, my number one focus is to help you convert more of the open opportunities you already have. Yes, from time to time, we talk about how to generate new opportunities. From time to time, we talk about how to have better sales conversations when you go out and do that estimate. But more often than not, the number one thing that we are trying to help you do is to convert more of the opportunities that you're already invested into. You paid for that Facebook lead, you paid for that Google lead. Maybe somebody just hopped on your website and they submitted an inquiry. You went out there, you gave them an estimate, you gave them a quote, and they kind of just go quiet. What's with that, right? Well, today, what I want to do is I want to talk to you about why prospects are ghosting you after the first quote and how to fix it in 15 minutes. Okay. That's the whole goal for this today. So, no questions submitted, but this is a question I get often is why are prospects ghosting me? And what do I do about it? Well, I want to reiterate this. Most of you do not need more leads. You need control after your quote. This is what our quote conversion blueprint is about. This is what our custom GPT is for. This is what our accelerator program teaches you. We are deeply invested into this place in the process. So let me set this up. So I want to start off by saying it this way. You think that ghosting is rejection. That's a lot of times what happens is man, they didn't want to work with me. They decided not to proceed with what I had shared with them. And there's a possibility that's true, but I want to challenge you to consider that may not be rejection. Most prospects, they don't say no. You didn't hear a no. They just haven't decided yet. That silence you're hearing, it's a system failure. It's not a people problem. It may not even be a sales execution problem in terms of how you handled going out there, building rapport, and delivering the quote. It could be, but it's more often a failure of a key system. And this happens so often, meaning though, that I can predict it when it's going to happen. And if I can predict it, then I can fix it. If you have ever said to yourself, I don't know why they won't call me back, then the rest of this is going to be for you because I'm going to talk about some reasons and then I'm going to give you some practical action. So sit tight because it's here for you. Okay. So let's start off. Reason number one. Reason number one why you get ghosted is because there was no decision made. Most quotes end with uncertainty, not direction. What usually happens towards the end of this process for you, and I've been on a lot of discovery calls with you guys. I've been on a lot of pipeline calls with you guys, and the same thing. I'm hearing the same thing over and over again. I say, well, how do you typically ask for the sale? And they tell me, and part of that usually includes some kind of like, oh, why don't you just take a look at this and then let me know? Or, give me a call back if you have any questions. Or I'm going to go ahead and send this quote over to you and then I'll check back with you in a few days. Why does this fail? Why is this such a sticking point? It's because the homeowner feels pressure to give you a decision, but they're not really clear on what that decision is. And you're like, well, yeah, it's just a simple yes or no, but it's not a simple yes or no. And so what happens? Well, that decision gets pushed to a later date. It's the way that your customers are dealing with conflict resolution. And when the decision gets pushed to later, later becomes never, at least never not with you. They're going to go buy it. The majority of people that are inbound inquiring to work with you are eventually going to buy from somebody. Every quote that you deliver, every estimate that you provide to a homeowner to a decision maker must end with one of three outcomes. So, again, if you're not getting decisions, it's because you are not getting a yes, you are not getting a no, or you are not scheduling a next step. One of those three things must happen. You don't have to close them on the spot. That's great if you do. But if you don't close them on the spot, then you need to understand whether or not they're ever going to buy, which is why you want to get the no if you can, or you want to schedule a next step. So, something super simple that you can say here is most people either move forward with me right now, they decide that we're not a good fit to work together, or they would like a few more days to think through that. Which one feels right to you right now? Decide. Because check this out. If they say yes, boom, sold. Let's put it on the calendar. If they say no, then you get to ask some questions around why it's not a good fit. And if they say they want a few days to think about it, you get to ask a few questions about what they want to think about and when they feel like they're going to be ready to make a decision. So I can hear objections and I can put together a clear next step. If there is no next step on the calendar, the deal is already drifting before you even leave the house. That's the number one reason why you're getting ghosted, is because no decision is made. Number two is because the quote became a price. The second reason why you're being ghosted is because the quote became a price. Once the quote is sent, value disappears unless you reinforce it. All that value that you communicated when you met with them, when you walked the home, when you explained to them all that was going to be included into that, that's gone when they're looking at that number at the bottom of the page. Typically, when you send a quote over, that prospect, the potential client of yours, starts looking at numbers, comparing to other quotes. They forget why they called. They even kind of forget who they called. All emotion, all human connection is completely gone, and even a sense of urgency is out the window. You see, we know this is going to happen. And there's a lot of things that I've encouraged you guys to do in your estimate delivery that can prevent this, but that's discussion for another day. But in this situation, what most owners and reps do wrong here is they go quiet, they send a basic weekly check-in, or they ask this death question, which is, do you have any thoughts? Your job after the quote is leadership, not reminders. Leadership, not reminders. Here is a rule that I would encourage you to live by. Never reach out to check in. Always reach out to re-anchor the problem. Simple example. Last time we talked, the biggest concern was that this was going to fail during a peak season. Have you had a chance to think about how you want to handle that risk? That's it. No, you haven't had a chance? Oh, let's talk about it again. Yes, you've had a chance. What are you thinking there? This brings the conversation back to their problem, not your quote. If the risk is greater than the investment, they're going to make it. The third reason why you're getting ghosted is because you don't have a follow through system. This is why we talk so much about follow up. This is what the quote conversion blueprint is possible or is for. This is what the custom GPT is for. Most contractors rely on memory and motivation. But that's a problem for every single one of us, because whether it's our diet, it's our exercise, or it's our business, memory and motivation create inconsistent timing, awkwardness in the messaging, and we end up just giving up far too early. From the homeowner side of things, by the way, if I'm the buyer, this feels disorganized and really unprofessional. Even if the presentation initially was really good, if you've got crappy follow up, I start to consider whether or not that pitch was just a dog and pony show, and what I'm going to get delivered on the back end is a bunch of duct tape and, I don't know, old screws. You need a simple post quote rhythm. This doesn't need to be all creative. Minimum standard is our 7 touch process. Go back and get that blueprint. Go to the GPT and create your own. Silence does not mean stop. Silence means take control and lead. You got to do something about it. It's up to you to take that responsibility. I'm sure you're sick of being ghosted. Most of you I talk to have got 50 to 75% of your quotes sitting in purgatory. They're in no man's land, and you don't know how to get them re-engaged. So here's a challenge for you, okay? First step, pick one open quote from the last 14 days. One open quote that you have delivered over the last 2 weeks that you really think that you could have or should have won. With that one quote, I want you to send one message that reinforces and references and then reinforces their original problem. So remind them of why they called you in the first place. And then I want you to ask them for clarity around the problem. Okay? Help me to understand, is this what you are challenged with? Is this the problem you're looking to solve? Is this the dream you are looking to produce? Then action 3 becomes decide what your follow through cadence is going to look like the next time you send a quote. And by the way, that one open quote from 14 days and then send that message, you can do that to every single one of your open quotes and watch as the cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching start to come in. But then this third action here is decide what your follow through cadence is going to look like before you send the next quote, because you don't want to chance putting that quote back into purgatory. You bought the lead. You took the time to go out there and meet with them. You put the quote together. You've done all this work and then you just kind of let it flow. That's crazy. So decide what your follow up cadence is going to look like before you send another quote. Again, use a quote conversion blueprint. Use our custom GPT. You can do this stuff yourself. I'm not charging you for this. It's free. But if you do need help, then DM me here on the platform or reach out to me via social media, however you would like to engage with me. And I'd be more than happy to talk to you about some creative ways that we are working with contractors just like you. One thing that we're getting ready to offer, and you're hearing it here first, is a 197 call, 197 bucks for an hour of my time, and I will go through and help you solve one niche problem. You're going to have to apply the ahead of time. You're going to have to let me know what that is so we can define that as one specific niche problem, and I will help you to solve that problem, to fix that process in that 1 hour. Fully committed to doing that for 197 bucks. So that's an option. Or you can jump into our accelerator and you can fix this whole thing all at once. That's $997. And that's something that you can check out by clicking the link down below. So my question for you is, are you sick and tired of getting ghosted? Are you sick and tired of putting all that work into buying leads, earning opportunities, walking jobs, and then getting ghosted? If you are ready to convert more, take action from simple things just like this. It's pretty basic. It's pretty straightforward. The question is whether or not you're really going to do something about it. And unfortunately, for many of you, you're not. The opportunity is right in front of you. My challenge to you is to do it and watch as you reap the reward for making these small little changes that have incredible return on your investment. Thanks, you guys. Take care and talk to you soon.